Monday, December 4th, 2023, 6 o'clock, regular meeting of the Windsor Heights City Council. Roll call.
Here.
Joseph Jones.
Here.
Michael Libby.
Here.
Lauren Campbell.
Here.
Teresa Harms.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Skirius.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Teresa Harms.
Yes.
Swearing in of city council members Susan Skerries and Teresa Harms. Ms. Harms, you are the elder of the group that has been elected, so we will start with you.
A minute. Yes.
You are the longest serving member of the body,
You wanna, should we go up here?
please.
Okay. I think I am older though.
We won't discuss it.
You can talk about it after.
I got you beat.
Stop talking about age.
All right, Ms. Harms, you can raise whichever hand you feel is appropriate and repeat after me, please. I, Teresa Harms, do solemnly swear
I, Teresa Harms, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all of the duties of the office of City Councilor of Windsor Heights,
discharge all of the duties of City Councilor of Windsor Heights,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as here and now after required by law.
There is your election certificate.
Thank you very much. All right, we're gonna go up. You want to come up real quick for a picture?
You got this. You're good.
Okay.
Ms. Marys?
Turn down.
Skerries, please repeat after me. I, Susan Skerries, do solemnly swear
I, Susan Skerries, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the office of City Councilor of Windsor Heights,
discharge all the duties of the office of City Councilor of Windsor Heights,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law. Well, thank you.
Close. No reason.
Mike.
No reason.
That's how we do things at Windsor Heights.
Exactly, yes.
Hey.
You're fine. All right, item 4, public forum. This is the time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Public comment? All right, item 5, consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
And I moved to discuss a few things.
What would you like to?
Yeah, which
remove,
ones?
Susan?
We'll pull them.
C, H, and L, I. CHI.
CHI.
Move to approve with the exception of CH and I.
Roll call?
Susan Skiris.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Lisa Harper.
Yes.
All right, 5C, approve University Avenue improvements project change order.
So is the total of that like 36 or 39,000? And like for things like the tree grate and frame, whose fault is it that we're spending like, well, only 6,000 there, but like, is CenturyLink able to, like, they already did pay us? So they did pay like the 23,000 or a portion? Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we knew.
And a lot of those things.
Oh. So we did make our money back though, at least close. Okay.
Can you find out? Adam, AJ, can you find that out? Answer that question, please.
See if we can dig it up.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, roll call?
Susan Skiris.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Lisa Harper.
Yes.
All right, 5H, approving resolution for waiving of CEC fees for the Iowa State Fraternal Order of Police on December 14th, 2023.
I just want to discuss the cleaning fees for both of those. So I don't know. The only thing, I know working with the police department and the fire department, a lot that they know that they come in, they clean it up. Then we don't have to worry about the cleaning costs because that's $325 that we would be paying out of pocket. But I just want to make sure that moving forward, like the foundation knows that it has to be back to the exact spot or, you know, so that we don't get charged the cleaning fees and then are out that money after we already gave them the opportunity to come in for free. I don't know if there's a way that we can write that, you know, that make sure that the cleaning is done.
Nate and I have had a little bit of discussion on how to handle this going forward. And Nate, I'll just turn it over to you if you want to try to summarize.
Yeah, so essentially the plan for any sort of waiving of fees is we as staff will go down the next morning or the next business morning, I should say. Investigate, make sure everything's good to go. If it's not, we'll charge cleaning fees and then we can go from there. But until then, we just will not be charging cleaning fees. And if there's any quick touch-ups, I can handle that or Public Works can assist. So.
I just want to make sure that we have something in place, maybe as part of the paperwork that says, you know, we're approving this, but note that if this isn't clean and we have to bring the cleaning crew in, it is $325, $350 or whatever it changes to once we get that squared away.
I believe we would just need to update the policy on that or put it into writing to make that legally enforceable. Or
Well, and I'm not even sure that the policy addresses the cleaning fee when it's waived, right? So I think that
it
would
just said
be,
it's all waves, I
Right.
believe.
so I think
So I
we
don't
just
know if we
update the
can-
policy.
Yeah.
We can certainly add the language, but
Yeah.
the goal with all of these is consistency. And so, you know, that's why you approved the last one to be consistent with what you've done in the past. You've come up with a good idea on how to move forward with this, but we should put it into the policy. So if one of us isn't up here at any time, that everybody knows what we've done in the past.
And then if we aren't just springing it on whoever the nonprofit is, you know, hey, you didn't clean up, here's the money. Well, we didn't know we were, you know,
Committed to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're clear.
But Nate, you did say the last time, or make sure I understand that you do take a credit card. Is that, or no? Did I make that up in my head?
I think
Yes.
to have an account, you have to have a credit card on file.
Okay.
Yeah, we still have a credit card on file for incidentals.
Okay,
We don't just like.
just, it's not a free for all.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. We still
Okay.
kind of back
Okay.
ourselves up that way.
All right, so they have to have a credit card on file, and then if they don't properly clean, then they would be assessed. So I think that's probably the language that you know, if it's not appropriate or restored back to order, whatever is the appropriate language. Yeah, okay.
And
Sorry, I
Adam
had to-
did help me find the last, was it a resolution? about
Yeah, it was passed in 2021.
Yeah.
So we'll.
You're out, right?
When we
bring
did it.
that- Yeah, we'll bring that back up at another meeting to update that policy and have it pass through.
My goal is next council. Don't hold me to it, but that's the goal.
Well, probably good timing to start the new year and make sure that be a good time to start the new policy.
Does there need to be any amended language as part of these resolutions then, Aaron?
No, I think Nate's got it down here that you won't schedule professional cleaning for that event, but you'll go in and do the visual inspection. So just noting that's a change from previous practice, and that's what's gonna be adopted formally soon. Okay. So I think we're good.
Okay.
Obviously, make sure that they know, they understand. Nonprofit.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, then, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second,
Roll call.
yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
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 All right, 6A, consideration of the second reading of ordinance number 20. Well, was it the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
The same.
But it was pulled out, so I think you need
All
a
right.
second vote on that.
Is there a motion on 5A?
Move to
5I?
approve.
Second,
Roll call.
yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Teresa
Yes.
All right, 6A, consideration of the second reading of ordinance number 2006 and ordinance amending chapters 165
Move to approve.
through 177
I'm sorry.
of the Code of Ordinances. I read it into the record. For the city of Windsor Heights related to zoning.
Move to
Now.
approve.
Second.
Sorry.
Has there been any?
I read it in my head.
There's not been any additional public comment. I would note after our last city council meeting, I reached out to Silver Star Car Wash ownership, requested that they look into doing some additional buffering on the south side. There are a number of easements and an existing detention pond in that southwest corner, and then the drive goes to the east. But they are amenable, depending on how many trees have to come down there on that south buffer, of planting some additional overstory trees, just to try to ease some of those sight lines for the neighbors to the south. Obviously, those trees will take a while to grow, but they're willing to do that to be on the site plan as today, just to try to assist. So no other comments beyond that. or changes.
Thank you for doing that.
Thanks.
It is red.
That
All
it
right.
is.
Roll call.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Teresa Harms.
Yes.
6B, consideration of the second reading of ordinance number 2023-10 and ordinance amending chapter 183 for mobile food units.
Move to approve.
Second.
AJ, you did some amendments to this.
Yes, there's two amendments per council request. Section number 11 adjusted to no mobile food unit shall be left overnight at its operating location at the end of the business day unless it is operating as part of a multi-day special event and has approval from the city administrator. And then 18303, the application section, we've expanded that list of annual compliance letters allowed by the fire marshal and the metro beyond that original list to include Des Moines, Clive, Ankeny, Urbandale, Norwalk, Grimes, Altoona, Pleasant Hill, Johnston, Waukee, or West Des Moines. Again, I think any food truck operator should have one, or if not all of those by that point. So hopefully that's a fairly accomplished list. I didn't check every small suburb because some of them may not actually have a fire marshal, but those are the only two changes I have. There's no public comment.
Thank you for doing that for me.
All right, any further discussion or questions? Hearing none. Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
Joseph Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Teresa Harms.
Yes.
All right, 6C, consideration of approval of MOU with Teamsters Local 238.
Move to approve.
Second.
Chief Roth, is there anything you have to comment about this or?
Thank you, Mayor Council. The staff report really is most of our summary of the MOU. I'd just like to thank the union, city administrator, our supervisors for working on this to get a draft, and it was approved by the union back in November. I will answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Chief Roth? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Lisa Harper.
Yes.
6D, consideration of entering into a space use analysis with OPN Architects.
Move to approve.
Second. AJ, do you want to give an update about well, you don't have to give the full update about.
Sure. Yeah, the last city council meeting was asked that administration review prior discussions and analysis that have happened for city facilities. I provided in the staff report kind of a brief summary of what we were able to locate. I'll just highlight a couple quick for you. Before 2010, the city did explore a public safety building remodel. There's a couple of designs that we tracked down included in there from that past time. In 2014, Public Safety Director McDaniel did a self-created needs analysis for the public safety building for the Public Safety Committee. That is attached as well. Shortly thereafter, the new city hall was acquired. There was some dollars spent to partially remodel that city hall. And thereafter, some of the firefighters and police officers primarily, along with some paid contractors, did some remodeling of the public safety building to remove mayor's office and some of the other city hall administrative functions, created the overnight room for the paramedics and some additional meeting room space for the police, as well as evidence locker downstairs with the negative outflow. Then you jump up to 2018, the Public Works Facilities Analysis that had about 6 or 7 major components to that. A few of them were acted on, although most of them remain outstanding. There's a new roof on the public safety building. Some of the unit heaters in the maintenance bay were replaced. And a small section of that office restroom remodel is completed, primarily some new fixtures and furnishings and paint. And that kind of brings us to 2023 here, where we've got the new update to the public facilities analysis, the public works analysis, planning for the new salt shed. Beyond that, we weren't able to track down any holistic facilities for the city. I'd say my general impression is that things are functioning. I think we're all kind of aware from a department head and staff level that there's some inefficiencies. There's some deferred maintenance costs across most of the facilities, but things are generally working. Just, probably with a little effort and dollars, make it work a little bit more efficiently. So recommendation kind of continues that at some point in the near future, if not now, consider doing this so that we can operate a little more efficiently and be intentional about some of our future maintenance needs that are out there or already are out there. That pretty much hits the highlights unless you have any questions.
Discussion or questions?
So I appreciate the research, because I think that is helpful. It kind of puts it in perspective on where we've been. It also is outlined as one of our goals to do a space needs assessment. And so the reality is probably only going to get more expensive as we go along, and it needs to probably happen sooner rather than later. And still not necessarily a fan of we should have budgeted for it. But I also know we've been in a little bit of disarray. And so I'm open to how the rest of the council feels about moving forward or putting in the next budget cycle.
I would be in favor of that.
Of what? I said
Putting in the
either
next
or.
budget cycle.
Put in the next budget
Yes.
cycle.
So that's budgeting, what is it? It's 25,000,
For July.
Approximately, yeah.
approximately 25,000. Other council comments?
Yes, for me, are we going to act on this, or are we going to take this and do a study and put it on the shelf and look at it and say, this is what we need to do, but this is really not what we have the ability to do right now? I mean, for me, I guess there's other things that need to be looked at and taken care of prior to us even looking at changing things other than the salt shed. We know that has to happen, but I don't understand. We've done a few of these things and we haven't acted on them. So now we're going to put this into the next budget, spend $25,000 on that when we could spend that money elsewhere, because God knows we have a lot of things that we could use that with. I guess if we're gonna act on it, A, where are we finding that money? But B, then I would be okay with it. But are we just doing a study to do a study, to have this done, to say in 10, 15 years, we'll have to do a study again, but we're going to have the information from 10, 15 years ago that is now not current, kind of like what we're looking at now, you know? So do we do it closer to when we can actually do something with it and act on what we have? Or I'm not in favor of doing it currently. I think that there's too much that we are needing to do, that we're needing to look at, that we have kind of kicked the can down the road. And I think we need to be realistic about what we can do with the finances that we have and not take money out of our reserves. That's my position.
Any other comments?
I'm in favor of us exploring doing the study, whether it's now or with the next budget. You know, when we think about comprehensive plan, we need to know all the things that our city needs. And so knowing that we won't be able to take any action, like Susan says, we don't have the money to build probably all the things or remodel all the spaces, but knowing what's needed and getting some help prioritizing things, I think will help us make those decisions so that we have a goal in 5 years. We have a goal of what we want to do, accomplish 10 years from now, and we can lay some groundwork to get there instead of it being another 5 or 10 years and we still don't know exactly what we need. I've heard different ideas kicked around. I think there's different people in the city that have a vision of what might happen, but getting some outside perspective of what our city actually needs and what some of those options are will allow us to plan for what we can do down the road.
I'll share an example. So, and this is actually what got me thinking a little bit more about it after I read the update from Adam about kind of the background on this, and just seeing that we never were successful in implementing most of the recommendations. So I had a client who had 2 different locations, and essentially what they did was they did assessment and looked at what's the money that they could save by making the improvements that they needed to make. And so in the long run, they were able to reduce their costs for multiple things by 30%. So they had an overall savings to their budget. And so I think we need to look at it and think about it from, you know, if there are efficiencies that can come from that, what are going to be the cost savings from implementing something like this? So I just throw that out there as is there with efficiencies, if there are recommendations. But to Susan's point, we have to be real about if we are going to take this step to do this, then we have to be serious about, you know, implementing the recommendations, because if it's a matter of doing a report to get the information, yes, I think there's some value in understanding what is on your plate. But if you're looking at 5 to 10 years to implement, then there's no sense in us doing it at this stage. But if we can, and there's efficiencies to be had and budget savings, I think that's a concept, you know, that's something for us to think about too.
I think we've learned a number of things. If we put things off, they get more expensive. We're talking about police cars and fire trucks, and, you know, any building improvements that we want to do is much more expensive today than what it was 2 years ago. We learned that with the international airport as well. So, you know, I think it's wise to do this study and then prioritize and do what we can and hold our feet to the fire.
But if we're doing it 5 to 10 years from now, then there's no sense of urgency of doing it right now.
Right.
Adam, how long will it take to do the study?
So there's a little bit of scope conversation I hear going on as well. You know, I think there's probably an initial step of what are we looking to achieve with this? Are we trying to renovate existing spaces? Are we trying to relocate public works out of the floodplain? Are we looking to build a whole new city center or move into a potential existing empty space? And I think that gets into some of the questions of, is that affordable? And maybe that would be, looking back at the OPN study, something we should talk about first before jumping headlong into some of the pricing components and some of the existing facilities analysis. But if we can narrow the scope down to what we think is achievable, whether that's a new building or some minor modifications to the existing buildings with a maintenance plan that may extend out 5 to 10 years. I think this can be accomplished in 3 to 4 months, maybe less. We've done one of these in Johnson when I was there, and that one took about 2.5 months, but that was strictly for City Hall, but with a lot of intentional planning for constructing a new one. So not quite an apples to apples comparison, but approximately 3 months would be my guess.
The other challenge that we're up against, if we are, but so if we're looking at 4 months, then our budget will already be certified, and then we won't be we're not in a good position to plan for budgeting for the next fiscal year. So then we're already a year out from that unless there is money in an existing maintenance or fund that can be utilized. So.
Okay. So in the past, there was a lot of work that was proposed to have been done on public works facilities. I think there were some big budget items, and I think that there was some putting off of taking action on those items because we said, well, are we going to keep public works where it is because it currently exists in a floodplain? Other things I think about, studies we have done, looking at our parks plan. We still have taken no action on Lions Park, but council did put $3 million towards Colby Park, a significant part of that. I think what I would ask council to think about is, do they consider the facilities that we have adequate? Does staff think that the facilities that we have are adequate? And if the answer to that question is sort of no, well, then, there needs to be some sort of comprehensive look at that, understanding that we do not have a significant amount of money to throw at what may be recommended, but we don't have any idea of what we'd be saving for in the future if we don't do something like this. We have no sort of idea about what sort of numbers we would be looking at if we never do this. So that's just something I'd like council to think about, and at the very least, ask that they approve budgeting this for at least, approximately $25,000 to go into our CIP for next year. So there was a motion. I don't know the motion exactly. It was just to approve. So what exactly is the motion?
I think the motion was to approve of the agreement with OPN Architects.
Right.
I withdraw that motion.
Yeah.
Draw your second.
Yeah.
And then I would make a motion to put this for consideration in our CIP for the next budget year.
Second.
With the amount being, or just?
No more than $30,000. I don't know if it comes back, and I'm just.
I think you can probably assume that it's going to cost what it is proposed to,
Okay.
which is about $25,000.
Okay, $25,000. Was the generous side
Yes.
of me coming out.
Any other discussion
Flexibility,
or questions on
flexibility.
that? Hearing none, roll call.
No.
Justin Jones.
Yes.
Michael Libby.
Yes.
Lauren Campbell.
Yes.
Lisa Harper.
Yes.
6E, discuss city council goals. Since last meeting, there has been a great number or a great amount of feedback solicited from staff and department heads. However, council would like to proceed. I noted there were a few that were basically either they didn't have an update or staff was looking for further direction from council. So we could either go one by one, or we could talk about the ones that are kind of not updated.
Let us do that one.
Okay,
Can I make a suggestion too? I know that this is very petty on my part,
sure.
but can we make it so that the fire department is red and city hall is green? Just to kind of keep the colors.
And what color would Public Works be?
Public Works could be green too. I don't care on that, but fire department is red, police department is blue.
I'll bring a color policy in front of council.
Thank
There you
you. Would you like me to prepare one so that everybody knows my little OCD?
Little options,
kicks out.
Tone of red and periwinkle.
Yeah.
All right, there was no update on 3C, which was balance the continuation of basic municipal services with the addition of new program and initiatives, considering the availability of financial resources long term.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Where are you at again?
I am at 3C, which would
Goal
be
number
the
3.
bottom
Thank
of
you.
page 297.
Goal 3, objective C.
Yes. Objective C. Balance the continuation of basic municipal.
That's a lot of words.
That mean what?
Well, what do you think it means?
That's why I'm asking, Mr. Mayor.
I think maybe the reason they're,
Program initiatives.
I think maybe the reason there's not an update is because there might be some confusion about what it is suggesting.
Yes.
But does anyone recall who may have suggested this?
Was this, does this relate to, for some reason, what's coming to mind is like additional programming, like we had the library, story time in the park, other activities. I think the special events committee does probably most of the things that were initially envisioned with that, but that's the only thing that's coming to mind. Like if we have the money, we could plan more programming is what I'm reading from it.
What would basic municipal services be? Like what are,
Trash collection.
yeah,
I
that's
feel
what I'm
like, I feel
thinking.
like maybe it had something to do with trash collection. And maybe, you know, like the tire pickup and what we do with the cardboard and additional programs through Metro Waste and potentially that.
Adam, one, you got any idea?
Dude, no, I don't. Trying to think back on.
Well, it sounds good. I mean-
Carried over from the year before. 'cause I
I was gonna
think-
say, I didn't find notes on it when I went through. I have no written notes on it, so.
So I don't know if this one was like a carry through because it was one when we discussed it last year. That it hadn't had any movement either, so it was one that just kind of,
Zombie objective.
yeah.
All right. Well, Council, do you want to,
Eliminate it?
yes, eliminate that one?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay.
Very good.
We don't know what it means. We don't need it.
Okay.
We met the objective.
We did.
You've met the objective.
We've
yeah.
talked about it now twice and no, nothing.
6A, that is at 299, page 299. Invest in comprehensive marketing plan for business attraction using the community survey results.
Hmm.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So what, that, I mean, it seems
So-
self-explanatory to me.
Yeah, it is pretty self-explanatory, and we did that city survey
Mhm.
and got back some reports on that. I seem to remember people wanting more restaurants and more activities. I think this is one of the, we had a meeting, communications meeting not too long ago, and I think maybe this might be a good investment with the Chamber of Commerce. If they're our partner in business, they may not know anything about marketing, but at least, you know, that's a.
He's right here. You don't got to get the digging.
They may. They may not. I choose my words carefully.
So it sounds like perhaps the direction is reach out to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And see what they can do for us. Does
that work?
Is that direction understood?
Direction understood.
Okay.
We're just tearing through these.
Can I go up to goal number 5, objective B? Can we just, I'm looking at it, partner with the Foundation on Nights in the Heights, Windsor Wonderland, and their members are active on a number of city committees. The city also continue, you know, like we really haven't partnered with the foundation on Windsor Wonderland. I mean, they did the
Sponsored
lights.
some, yeah.
So I guess, are we asking them to do more, or? I mean, I'd be more than happy to have more people help us and have more sponsorship dollars coming in, but I just want to make sure that we're clear what we're even asking in that. Are we asking for more foundation volunteers? Is that?
Well, I think, okay, so part 1 is continuing to invest in community events, which is obviously the city has invested more and more each year towards community events. So
We've kept it at 40,000 for the last 2 years. So,
we didn't give more to fireworks.
well, I mean, the city gave money to the foundation for fireworks.
Okay.
Is that what you're meaning?
That's part of the
okay.
objective too, is, well, fostering the partnerships with the foundation, Chamber of Commerce, and other community partners. So I think it's partially partially objective B. Part 1 is to invest more in community events. And if there is a greater budget ask, obviously that can be discussed. There's a lot of committees to discuss that, but then also supporting the foundation with Nights in the Heights and also their fireworks. And I think the Chamber of Commerce has been a great partner to community events. And I guess I don't know who other community partners would be. Suppose it would be other sponsors. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
I would agree.
Well, I just think that if we're going to be contributing to fireworks or something like that, that we say something along those words, along lines of what exactly you just said versus what kind of is in there. But I don't want to go back to what you said because I don't remember.
I tend to ramble though, Susan.
I know,
So
that's
you can't
why.
put that in a coerced.
So you're
or
saying the staff
in a
replies.
concise
Yes,
objective.
that's it.
All right,
We just want to clear it up.
all right. Clean it up. Are there any other ones? Before we move on. 7B. That is page 300. Expand existing community recreation options and pursue partnerships with the schools and other community organizations.
I was a little busy, so I apologize.
That's okay. I know,
Sorry to put you on the spot. You seem to be involved in a lot of those. That's why you got put on the spot.
Well, but I think so I know there's been outreach to the Y, and then I'm happy to
area
help
churches.
with, that we, in various churches, and some of them did
Bulls,
did
Clive, and-
participate and we invited them to participate in Windsor Wonderland. Many of them participated in the
Festival.
Fall Festival,
The Scouts, Girl Scouts and Boy
Boy
Scouts
Scouts. We had Girl Scouts at
Boy
Windsor,
Scouts.
yep.
at Veterans Day.
Who is running the Y now?
Jen Damji, and so she lives on 64th Street down the street from Susan.
Okay. Have you spoken to her?
Yeah,
Okay.
we know our dogs. So.
Oh,
They're currently hosting a poster board for us on the 73rd Street project as part of our grant application. So thanks to Justin for dropping that off there. Oh, well.
Ah.
Preemptive thing.
Hmm.
At least you were truthful. And I did connect a couple weeks ago, the Y in the church, looking at some childcare preschool options, collaboration between the two as well. So
And then we have the three schools, Windsor, Coles, Clive. And our outreach does go to all of the Des Moines Public Schools and all of the West Des Moines Public Schools, as well as St. Teresa's, Mount Olive, and Sacred Heart sometimes.
Fire and police, don't you guys do some work with Clive Learning Academy?
they
Doing
used to
lunches?
be intimately involved,
Yeah.
but not so much anymore. No, just
Shop with the cop that we involve both schools for the kids that we.
Right.
And anytime they want us to come over, they have like a lunch, like a lunch and learn, but the often go there in the summer and they do some things there and talk with the kids
Right.
for lunch or snack break or something. I think that's at Windsor School, but yes, we do stuff. I do you guys.
Yeah, fire prevention week, we'll usually stop by, we'll line stuff up with staff there and go through different grades over a 3-day period.
Sure.
Which is nice because it gets most of our divisions involved with the school, so.
And I didn't offer up any staff comments on this. Perhaps, the feedback here is we need to continue to maintain those existing partnerships. It sounds like we have quite a few. I just didn't know if there's particular ones that you were looking to expand on beyond what we have, but that was the gist of my no staff comments on that one.
Susan.
Yeah.
well, and I think both the police and fire both participated in Clive Summers Rocks program and the end of the school year and
In the Windsor back to school bash thing,
we're all over the
everybody
place.
had a great time watching the fire truck parallel park.
And then go on a call. And then the police went on a call. So, it was about 5 minutes of watching the parallel park, 2 minutes of being there, and then leaving on calls. So par for the course. Lights and sirens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, National Night Out.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot going on. All right,
Send it out to everybody, not just Susan.
8B, on that note, 8B,
Another slacker, sorry.
plan and hold new multicultural special events with community partners.
We have.
So we do
Um,
cultural,
Right.
the Windsor Heights,
The racy walk.
Racy
Yes.
walk, right?
and then we've been attempting to, but it has kind of fallen through, just given the timing on things, and the availability of the nonprofits, but we've tried to do a nonprofit night, and the movies, for movies in the park to kind of get some nonprofits involved. So if you have any nonprofits to contacts, I'd really like to get them out there for one night where we have a bunch of the nonprofits for a movie, just to kind of showcase what they have and be available for questions or comments, because we do have a wide gamut of people that come, so.
So ongoing,
Yeah.
okay? That's sort of the ones that are kind of blank, not necessarily blank, but is there any specific goals that council wanted to discuss before moving on to suggested goals.
So, 9C, the develop a marketing plan to establish Windsor Heights as a destination for residents in the region. I guess I know that, I just am curious as to what that might entail. Like, I mean, I know we also have the other marketing plan we're gonna work with the chamber on for business attraction.
Yeah, is this,
We have limited,
just to try to get people to move here? Is that?
I just don't know if it's,
It sounds like,
yeah.
right?
Well,
We don't have that problem.
I was gonna
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the things about our special events that Susan and I talk a lot about with like Cumulus Media Group and stuff is that, you know, like the fall festivals for not just for Windsor Heights residents, and that we have people from around the metro that come to it. And our goal is that, you know, while they're there, they see a bakery they've been meaning to try, or a restaurant, or make plans to revisit, not just when there's fireworks in town.
Maybe visitors in the region or some residents. It makes it sound like we're trying to establish
As a
place to
destination for
live.
residents in the yeah,
Maybe we reword that?
yeah.
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 And then can we really, just to save my hair color and my poor hairstylist, can we please work on the community event centers? Like audio, visual, all of that, because 2 years now, 2 years, my nerves are fried and I didn't even know exactly what was going on because I was dealing with pizza and squares, not triangles. But it's never a good feeling to never know if you're going to have an audio, video, or visual thing work at an event. And then we're charging top dollar for people to rent there too. So I hate to have people go through what, not me, but AJ, Lauren, Chief, and Mike went through on Saturday. So maybe we can figure out what we have to do. I mean, I realize it worked afterwards as long as nobody talked and there was not one chair moving and not even a mouse was stirring. But we need to do something because what
You want to
Point well
deprive
taken.
me of the opportunity to MacGyver a solution? That's one of my favorite pastimes.
I'll find you a new one.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, we'll find a new
there's
one,
plenty of opportunity.
but
Just a quick status update, and thanks for saving the day again. On the IT side, we're gonna hire you as our IT professional, so you may have to step down from council, but Nate and I did go down there this morning, tried to problem solve the issue. We did call the company that installed the new transmission on our 1967 Chevy. They are gonna get scheduled to come down next week and look at the system. Also purchased a new DVD player to put in there because our DVD/VHS player that's in there looks very old, although it does have an HDMI hookup, so it can't be too ancient. But we need a remote for that as well, because there's not even a button to fast forward or anything on that. So we're gonna get that most likely installed. Get everything labeled on that server rack, because when there's not an IT professional there, we all just kind of stare at that rack and go, well, what does this? And nobody knows.
Well, don't leave out the pushing buttons. Definitely that too.
Push enough buttons, something might
Could they
work.
provide a troubleshooting guide that they write for our particular setup of?
I just think that staff needs to be there with them because
It's a little bit of a challenge because their story is they want to program this thing and set it up so you don't have to touch it for 10 years.
oh,
Well,
wow.
that is not happening.
Yeah.
We're touching it every 10 minutes, but I guess maybe that's a good aspirational goal, that it works enough that we don't have to touch it and hit buttons and mess it up, but we're certainly not there right now.
Here.
Yeah.
Don't give me too much credit for IT. I did have to have my email password reset by Chief Rock today, so I'm not quite to the professional level that you described.
Okay. So talking more about this objective, do we need a marketing plan? Sounds very formal
Yeah,
for just,
I don't think a marketing plan is needed.
yeah, I think,
We still on?
Incorporate marketing initiatives or public relations initiatives. Recognizing Windsor Heights as a destination for in the region. Something along those lines. So we engage in the media and we engage socially, to invite people to come and see Windsor Heights as a place to, play and shop and all those things. Is that the goal? Is that kind of what we were trying to get to?
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know if Susan's needs to be an identified goal, but it looks like maybe the staff put that on the back somewhere. for
Yeah.
Number
additional
2, additional
suggestions.
suggested goals. I just wanted to make sure that that gets bold, underlined, starred, asterisked, everything.
well, there's, so one, I think, has to do with the bringing back the fee schedule, right? The fee schedule. And then talking more about a policy, especially with regards to cleaning guidelines, editing that.
You want that in purple?
And then,
I think that would be a good color.
and then 2 is not just so much that, but I think, AJ, do you want to talk?
No, I don't think I want to go into the details of that, but we are, we're going to work on that. There's going to be some server upgrades, and some additional policies and better tracking of our hardware and software.
3 being the ongoing hassle of just centralizing our information. If council didn't know, we still have Dropbox, but no one uses it. Some stuff is on Google Drive. Other stuff is through Civic. Is it Pulse or Plus? Plus. And then staff has Laserfish, right?
Plus an internal,
Plus your internal server.
plus Office 365.
Okay.
Seems to be a lot of different places to put things.
Right. And I think the goal is to get everything on Laserfish.
We want to make everything that you as elected officials and more detailed documents, plans, that the public might want to see available on Laserfish, because you can change different access levels. We'll also internally store a lot of our documents that we need to retain, but don't need to retain physically on there, because there's a retention policy that you can build out on Laserfish to automatically delete it after a certain time frame. So we're currently in the process of working with the temp agency to bring somebody on to help us get caught up on everything that's currently sitting there in a paper format, and to a place that we can, as a staff, scan things in. This probably be only a couple $1,000s job for a temp agency to help us with, but we need somebody to physically sit at a scanner and feed information into there to build out that Laserfish process. So that's sort of step 1 for us, is to build that catalog into Laserfish and make sure that we've got the system set up so that appropriate people have appropriate accesses for the right information, and it's categorized in a way that's easily searchable for everybody. So Laserfish is probably where we're going, at least from the city hall data standpoint, for most of our information. Public safety kind of has their own processes, but may eventually incorporate into that Laserfish as well. And at that point, we should be able to get rid of our Dropbox system. We'll probably maintain our internal server drive for some purposes. And you'll still see your city council agendas come out on our Civic Plus website, which is integrated into our city's website. But you'll have one data repository if you're looking for that 2080 contract with Des Moines Waterworks. Or you want to go back and find some billing statement from a few years ago, or a resolution or an ordinance. So that's our goal. It's going to take us a while to get there. But I think at the end of the day, we'll all be a lot happier if we can go to one repository and find that information, because that's been a personal source of frustration coming in here and trying to find historical documents.
I know that we've got some special events documents that are on Google Drive. I don't believe our Office 365 subscription includes the entire Office 365 for council.
Yes.
So we can't like use Teams or any of those things to save stuff. So I guess if we need to change where we're storing stuff, we want to be mindful of that.
What about the final 2?
You'll see some more conversation about our utility rates. In particular, we've got a number of CIP projects, predominantly 73rd Street coming up, that has a very large multi-million-dollar stormwater component to it, as do most of our street projects. Got portions of town with very aged storm sewer systems that are experiencing some collapses. So there's substantial need to invest in our storm sewer. Right now, a lot of that investment's coming out of our general fund. When we're doing roadwork projects, it'd be my recommendation to balance out all of our utility work with those applicable fees so that they closer tie into who's using those services to who's paying for those services long term. So you'll be seeing some conversation about appropriate setting of utility rates, some of which haven't been adjusted for a substantial amount of time and are a bit behind some comparable cities. And then 5, just in general, we have a lot of contractual relationships with third parties, be it Bolton and Mink or Safe Building, Des Moines Public Library. I think as we become a little more seasoned as department heads here and work on those relationships, we need to make sure we've got appropriate processes in place to track and budget those relationships so that that information is accessible to all of us and we understand how those relationships work. And if I could just real quickly to jump back to goal number 1, objective A, I just want to highlight our public safety department heads. We are very soon to be fully staffed on the police side. A lot of good candidates applied for the recent openings. And when Chief Mees was starting here, we're occasionally in situations, actually more than occasionally in situations where we had potentially one firefighter or paramedic on staff during a daytime shift, which essentially meant we were non-operational as a fire department and EMS service. He's really bulked up the ranks of our part-time staff, got a full-time team in place, and we're at about what, 95% or 99% coverage on the daytimes. And very reliably 2 at night with a new program starting up that'll help get at least a third person that's working on their qualifications to be available during night as well. So I think our adjoining municipalities really appreciate that, and it's certainly an important level of service achievement for us and our residents. So thanks to both of them for really working hard on goal number 1.
Any other comments or suggested goals from council?
So I'd like to look at 5D, and that is got 2 different documents here I'm working off of here, so give me a second.
Colby Park,
Yes.
park plans.
Yes, I don't know, I gotta get to there. Here we go. So either figure out there, we did the Colby Park piece, but we haven't talked about the others. And so I wanted to bring attention to that and not to add more to this that doesn't get done. But I do like the idea of, and if it's adding to this or another goal in here, but something to do with having a trees policy. I've had about a half a dozen residents comment to me after the last council or meeting where that was talked about at being willing to help or invest or whatever in a project that would do that.
You will see a decision package from Public Works talking about allocating additional funds or pursuing grant funds for planting trees in the right of way coming this year.
Great. Or even helping residents put them back on their properties. If you've lost one, how do we, so I think we need to think beyond just in the right of way. If somebody's got one and they're willing to take on the responsibility, if we, can get the trees donated or just even plant them, those pieces, and then they take the responsibility of the tree or however that works. I think that you think about the duration and the number of trees lost during that storm alone. How can we think about, helping folks replace them?
Yeah, that's something that staff community can reach out to Cedar Rapids on. At the last league conference, they actually had a session that they have a tree program. Obviously, a lot more funds there, but they have a person who's, and responsible for that, and they started a program with residents who volunteered to adopt those right-of-way trees. So we
Okay.
can reach out to them and see if they can. kind of give
Share
us a
their-
framework.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's lots of ways we could do it, whether it's right away or in somebody's yard and they take responsibility for the tree or they adopt a tree or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, they did it like some fun way where they would like tag trees that were part of this like adoption program, and it was like. Also created like neighborhoods, city pride, that they were like helping take
Mhm.
care of those trees as well. Yeah, I can't remember, but. Really?
Relief.
Like,
Oh, I love that.
Reach out, yeah.
Well, I know when the Capitol complex to the west, that used to just be grassy area. So for a long time, if you wanted to donate a tree and whatever, they could, like, so when, like if a legislator passed or somebody of significance passed, they would go in and plant a tree and then dedicate that, but the state staff, the public, whatever they are, the groundskeeping crew, whatever, would go plant the tree. And then, some of them are plaqued and what have you based on that, but you could donate a tree basically and name it and kind of, so if you ever go walk through that area, some of the trees are plaqued and you can see whose name they're in. But anyways, my point being that there's lots of great ways to do that. I'd like to have the trees, whether it's there or somewhere else. I think that's a potential fit. 7A, it says, establish, a long-term funding plan for street sewers. So I think we have one established. I think it's continue to update, or I think that's just a word issue because I think it's been established.
Do we have any updates on like the flood mitigation plans? I know that at one point in time you had all staff people that came in and you had a meeting, but council wasn't involved in that, nor was anybody on the Public Works Committee. So nobody really knows where we're at or what we're doing, what our plans are. I don't even know where we left off, and I'm on the Public Works Committee, so maybe just updates, figure that out, put that out there. Let us know.
Well, I guess I'd like feedback from council on what to do with that, because I don't think any of our department heads were in place at the time that study was done. We did have JEO come in and provide the department heads an update on that final report that I presume was presented to council or Public Works a year and a half ago, but I couldn't promise you that. It's up on our website. And my key takeaway from that was the federal funding ratio on all those were not high enough to see any sort of matching dollars, and that the dollar amounts were substantial enough that independently as a local jurisdiction, we were really going to struggle with building these flood walls or levees or property buyouts. And at this point, it was more of an effort to ensure that we're investing in the right type of accessories and other things in the floodplain, and to not worsen the problem than necessarily try to find a way to further protect. The one exception to that is the CRA program, if I'm remembering the initials correctly, which we're in the process of applying through. That would reduce the flood insurance costs for residents that are currently in the 100-year floodplain. And that's about an 18-month process. JEO has got a contract with the city to work on that. We've been meeting with the DNR and them the last couple of months to start working through that. And so that is an active item, as well as our public safety department directors are working and leading the project with former Chief Rowe at Clive for a flood response. So if there's an instance in a flood, we know where to put barricades up. We know who to evacuate. We know to move the equipment out of the Public Works building based off of flood projections. Just generally all know how to respond to that emergency and notify residents of it. If there's further action or discussion you want to take about the JEO study and the potential options for hardening the city, we can certainly bring them back and have that discussion. But that was my impression coming on board after that study was there wasn't any specific action items to be taken.
Didn't we decide what we were gonna do? Like, for some reason, I want to say that we decided to
I think the
do
only thing that we decided to do though.
was the CRA
Right.
thing. But then we also talked about, like, we decided on some options that we thought were cost effective, or at least I thought but that's.
There
pretty
was a
fuzzy.
non-certified federal levies option that would provide some protection to residents directly east of the Walmart facility, but it wouldn't meet any of the FEMA requirements, but it would potentially provide some resiliency to, I think, about a dozen homes down there, if I recall. That's the only one that I recall as being a little bit more thoroughly discussed.
I think that the people that we should probably go to that would remember this better than any of us here would be the Public Works, the two on Public Works, John McKee and
Thomas.
yeah. Because they were the ones that did a lot of research, a lot of looking into it, did a lot of time. I was kind of coming into the Public Works Committee at that point in time, because I remember Mr. LaFredo was on the board at that point in time. And so I was kind of transitioning in. So I just came in at the very tail end of it. And I got my schooling from those two to kind of get me caught up, especially what things meant.
What is it? Well, council made explicit decisions about, here's the action we're going to take on those specific recommendations. Are you saying you want to revisit those decisions?
Well, I'd like
Or
to
just to understand what they were? and
understand what
the
they
updates
were,
are?
what the updates are,
Okay.
kind of, since we do have this changeover, we do
Right.
have all of these. It would be nice that before us old people leave and leave all of our knowledge behind us.
I was gonna say, you just got
Just got
reelected.
sworn
Where are you
in.
going?
I know, but 4 years goes quick. I mean, I'm telling you.
Okay, all right. We can do that.
So just to clarify, are we talking about Public Works Committee or are we talking about?
No, just-
reviewing of the council?
We can go back, look at what the council's decision was, and then based upon those decisions, get updates on what those were, provide those to council, and if we want to talk about it again, you're either committee level or at council, we can do that.
Just email them out, I think is fine.
We'll start with an email,
That
and we'll go
works.
from there. Are there any other goals to discuss? Okay. 6F, pole banners. AJ?
All right, an easy one hopefully here. We've had very nice looking black poles up on University Avenue since that project. They're currently beautifully lit with our holiday lights. They do come with brackets for banners. And so there was some banner designs put together a couple of years ago. We met as a communications committee to review those, or whether we wanted to put together alternative banners or different types of materials. I understood the general consensus to be move forward with a two-sided durable vinyl banner of that design. Adam, I don't know if you could hold it up for us real quick, just make sure everybody can see it. And so I, along with
Yeah, do the Vanna White thing. Thank you.
Lauren have
Help name.
proceeded to get some quotes on that, and it looks like we could get the best price we have so far is 45 of these, which give us a few extras for a grand total cost of about $2,200. So barring any alternative feedback from the council, that's our intention, is to go ahead and order these. That would go up in the springtime and come down early winter when our holiday lights go up. But otherwise be static in this form, although there's some other conversation about maybe something Veterans Day related going up temporarily. But today, this is what we're proposing, I guess.
Have we put one of them up yet?
They do fit.
No,
Yeah,
I'm wondering if I can read the heart of it all.
Oh, we could put up a sample one and
I'm
let
driving
you
by.
grab by and look.
Yeah, mine too.
I can barely see it from here. I mean,
I was gonna ask if it was on there. You notice I just didn't put my glasses on.
I like the idea. I just want to make sure that we're actually putting up something.
Do we
that people
save
can-
money if the heart of it all is on there?
Probably not.
Do we know how long we feel that they're gonna last?
We were told several years.
Yeah, I think you can get 3+ years out of them with them looking pretty good. This is a 18 millimeter that you priced out. I think it's the thickest as they offer. And I've certainly, in Beaverdale, I've seen some that are up from 6 years ago and still decent condition. So this is the type of a vinyl that you'd want, as far as durability standpoint.
I think the biggest issue you're gonna have, and this is my experience with outdoor signages, is just the color fading. I mean, that's what you'll experience. We need to take action on this.
It's a small enough expense. I was just gonna move forward, but I will review the size of some of the font just to make sure that it's reasonably legible.
Especially if you're walking. So can I ask,
As an aside. Hold on. As an aside, will this be the same, will this go the entire length of the university or just stop at the business district, as we'll call it?
thank you,
The
Mr. Mayor.
downtown.
I was going to ask that about the pretty lights.
You'll also see a decision package whether you'd like to order some more of the lights to go all the way to 70th. Sorry, 73rd. They
73rd.
currently go to 70th. We're ordering enough banners to go all the way to 73rd. So
Nice.
all of the black electric poles that we currently have.
Do we have this budgeted or is this coming out of the holiday light fund that we?
Well, I
didn't-
think it was budgeted a couple of years ago in the budget, but never acted upon. So I don't believe it's currently in the
I think
budget.
it was $40,000 is what was budgeted.
For the
And
holiday lights,
like 20.
did 25 maybe?
Not even, maybe.
It wasn't, it was something around.
Okay. Okay.
I can't remember if that was this budget or last budget, because I don't remember when we did the holiday lights. When
We did it this year.
Okay.
I think it was the last one, and we didn't use it all, right?
Yeah,
From
or we
Teamsters.
bought it.
At the end of- yes.
Yeah, it was right at the end.
At the end of the fiscal year.
Right.
It was warm out when we made that decision.
So to answer your question, it would probably need to come out of reserves then if it's not in this fiscal budget, which I'm not aware that it is.
I wanna say, yeah, they did it on the last one, so that it didn't have to carry over into this current budget.
We'll find out.
That's what I recall.
Seem to be pulling a lot out of reserves here in the last month. Like, we just pulled money for the one study or the code upgrades, we just keep,
How much money do we have in reserves?
I mean, we probably have enough, but
Rochelle's not here, but she would assure you there is substantial amount in reserves. We just looked at the year-to-date expenditures and they're tracking at or below what they should be compared to revenues. So I don't want to speak too far for her. We can ask her that question at the next meeting, but we've had conversations about the space use analysis and general other expenditures, including the code analysis, and she doesn't have any concern about where we stand compared to where we're budgeted.
Okay. So then, I guess the item was for the discussion of the pole banners and find out whether or not there's still funds budgeted for it.
I'll circulate an email.
Thank you. Okay. 7A, reports. My report is contained in the packet. Ms. Harms?
Well, thank you, everybody, for all your help and support, of Windsor Wonderland, this last weekend. I think we can all say that we were a little shocked, maybe is the key word, with a tremendous turnout, that we had here in our community. It's consumed my time for the last several weeks. So, but a special thank you. And I have some notes I just want to say, and I'll take Susan's time for her update this council meeting. So she's usually the update queen. Nate, thank you. You're a class act, rock star. You're with us every step of the way, and just can't thank you enough for everything. You're from, helping me on my fall to,
It was
I still
graceful.
got a little bruise. I'm okay. No worries, Erin. But, to, dishing out frosting for cookies, and you just did everything and did it with a smile and grace. And so thank you very much. Adam, you were with me last year on this journey in the first go round, and just thanks for taking my emails and responding in a timely manner and helping us get everything out there. And I know that you guys were like a tag team option, and I didn't have Nate's information, so Adam got everything. And so it was just, anyways, thank you both. Just tremendous. Jason, Brian, I think Zeke is the new guy, right? Yep. Okay. Yes. And the entire Public Works crew for all of their work. Again, they're, for a couple of days just helping, and then just throughout the whole event, just being there and making sure that everything was under control and working, and, and all the extra things. Volunteers, I can't say enough. Nancy, Judy, and Logan at the Santa's helpers, and just doing amazing stuff at all the activities. Judy, Nate's wife, is it Janelle? Oh, good. I'm good. Nate and Lisa on cookies. Barb and Benton did the gingerbread houses again, which were amazing. If people didn't get a chance, I think we handed out 30 kits. We had 26 come back in. And they were all
Amazing.
spectacular. Anyway, so that was great. Kate, Brian, Janine on reindeer duty. That was new for us this year. We had a whole crew on hot chocolate. Anna really did an amazing job and cleaned the entire kitchen when she was done. And Rowan and Rick and Brooke and Jamie and Hannah just did it all amazing in there. Chief Roth and his crew for being present and involved, and taking over responsibilities for the soccer game, which was donated by Windsor Heights Lutheran Church. So that was awesome. Adding Adam for rolling with the punches and running and getting supplies and everything else that we needed. And then jumping in on the fun run. And I got a great picture. I can't wait to get posted. Council, it was truly a team effort. Thank you for attending, for planning, and for pulling this off. I can't thank you all enough for coming together to do this. And you all know what you were kind of responsible for and helped us with. But so thank you. And Susan for being my soul sister, wouldn't be possible without you. And Lauren for always taking amazing pictures and making that possible for our community. We heard a lot of really positive things, not charging for a picture, which seems to be a consistent thing. And because we didn't, that was awesome. My family for basically doing whatever I told them to do. And it got testy at times. My assistant Jessica for doing everything again that I asked her to do. And then our sponsors, Hy-Vee, Baker's Trust, HWCBD, Advocacy Strategies, Windsor Mower, Gusto Pizza, Polk County, and a last minute ad, Cumulus Media, and for Danger, just really stepping up to the plate, and Susan made all that happen. So KGGO, The Vibe, KJJY, and Nash, I think are all of their, so they've been a really super fun partner that these guys secured for Fall Festival and did an amazing job.
They also have a sports radio station, but neither Susan or I can be bothered to remember their name.
I have
But
no
also
idea.
they're great
And I
for
can't
sports.
read it on the logo because
Champ.
I tried
Okay.
the champ.
Champ? Why can I not remember that? I
think
can
it's
remember
on-
everything else.
It's hard to read on their little logo thing. And then for other groups who participated, and helped out and did activities. So the Walnut Creek YMCA, the Des Moines Library, and the foundation all had a presence and were involved in some way, shape, or form. And then I sent everybody an email. Just please send me whatever recommendations that you have. So we can improve upon it for next year. But again, I just don't know that we can top this year because I was shocked at how many people showed up and really just had very positive things to say. Max coming up next week, newsletter should be out or going to print middle of this week.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go on vacation. So, all right, see you next time. Thank you.
I just want to echo Teresa's comments and then also special shout out to all those who are voluntold to help. And then like my mom, who got roped into helping. I think family members often do. And then I know that many of the volunteers, including Joseph, stuck around beyond their shift to help out and continue to get things done, which was great. Brian and Bobby fixed up the sled, made it look even better. You can barely tell that it is a sleigh bed that we've converted into a sleigh. And Brian even added the deer and built a special mount. So Rudolph looked like he was flying. That was not from Home Depot. He built that so that Rudolph would fly. So I'm going to hire him when I need.
Randy, not Rudolph, Randy.
Oh, Randy, sorry.
Trademark infringement.
Gotcha.
Randy.
Gotcha. I'm going to hire Brian when I need fancy photos set up in the future. That's all I've got.
Libby.
Communications Committee meeting was held. The minutes of that are in your packet. The Veterans Day event was excellent. And then to top it off with this Windsor Wonderland, what's really interesting, I think, about when I was going through the crowd and talking to people, learning how many people were not from Windsor Heights. I mean, the majority of people that come to our Nights in the Heights are not from Windsor Heights. And truly, at this event, this past week, there's a lot of out-of-towners that come here. So I think attracting area residents to Windsor Heights has not been much of a problem. But it was really well done, and the planning and the work that went into that was superior. Well done. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Jones?
DART meeting tomorrow, as we continue to have our discussions about the possible reduction of service. So there's several public meetings to have people come bring comments. So if we've not put that on anything on social media for us, we probably should put the last few dates out there just so our citizens can see that they can go to different places to register their comments. That's it.
Gary?
Gosh, what a busy time between last council session and this one. In the midst of it, I met with Lauren and Tiffany with the chamber about sponsorships. We're working on creating the information needed for the chamber to promote our sponsorship or to promote our sponsorships for the 2024 special events season. I attended lunch and learn with Chief Roth at the emergency management at Polk County Emergency Management about heating and cooling stations. It was very interesting to learn what all went into opening up these stations, a lot that I was not aware of. So these lunch and learns are happening almost every month except for the month of December, I think. So if you have the opportunity to go, they're kind of it's only an hour, not even. So if you get the chance, maybe attend something. Let's see. Then this next week, I'll be attending virtually the Civility Summit presented by the Ray Center, Preventing Mass Attacks, being put on by the Secret Service. And in person, I'll be attending the Metro Waste Board meeting. December 14th, the Chamber is hosting Bash at Higher Des Moines, which is located in West Des Moines. Then December 15th, we will have a special event committee meeting. And then a big thank you to Teresa for all of her planning and hard work in making Windsor Wonderland a success. I believe we had over 1,300, if not 1,500 people with my clicker. Everybody made fun of me, but guess what? We had some numbers. So clicker is worth it. We ran through 560 cookies in a matter of an hour, which is very impressive for the volunteers. I don't really know how many cookies that averages out to a minute, but that's more math than what my New York education will provide. So, and I have no idea how many cookies AJ ended up buying because I don't know how many times he went back to Hy-Vee
there just so many times, poor AJ, I think he.
You want to talk about a budget amendment? We talk about reserves. Reserve right there.
Needless to say, it was a very busy event with lots of people from not just Windsor Heights that came out to enjoy the festivities. So I do also want to note that we saw people walking around with cups from Dairy Queen, saw a few people come in with Marco's Pizza, so we're getting people into the community that are also going out and purchasing at our businesses, which is what we really want to have happen. So it's good to see in the midst of all the chaos that was going on, mostly in my head, but it was good to see that, people were coming in with all of this stuff from and supporting our local businesses. So I really want to say thank you to Anna because she was a rock star and saved us for cleaning. I didn't realize she was still there. So she's amazing. And I think she has now been voluntold that she will be on our committees for the rest of her given life because we can't go without her. But other than that, that's it.
Anna, shout out, I 78th Street. Oh, at her house, but just.
She's gonna get a Christmas card from me.
All right. Closed session. Under.
If I could, just one quick update.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Closed session.
Nate, would you pull up that map of the CC for me? Just wanted to let everybody know, we did have a pre-construction meeting last week with our contractor, and I did send him my Friday email that they're going to hold off on the cul-de-sac demolition. However, we've got a good streak of weather, and they really want to make sure that they hit our substantial completion date, which is immediately prior to Fall Festival. So we have a window. So that said, they do intend to begin demolition of the cul-de-sac. We met with them this morning and talked about access to the CEC and how to maintain that. So you'll see there, looks like they must have wound up as a final conclusion that the ADA stalls would not move. There was some talk about moving them to the east side. They would do a curb cut where that red rectangle is along the blue line. So that you have wheelchair accessible ramp there onto that sidewalk, and then folks could traverse that sidewalk to the south along the walking path that winds around there to the entrance or up the stairs. And then the red line with sort of the circles in it, that would be the fenced in area where work would be ongoing. So if you've been down to the park, you'll see there's a lot happening already. I just wanted to get this in front of you for awareness. It will cause, some challenges for folks as they get into our CEC for rentals over Christmas and winter and into spring. We will do our best to educate them on that and make sure they understand exactly what those restrictions and the access issues are, try to minimize the construction impact to them. But the reality is it is construction. People will be impacted. Hopefully they'll have an AV system that works, but they will be looking out upon construction fences and dirt for the foreseeable future. So welcome any feedback you might have on that. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and give them the thumbs up to go ahead and get as much as they can get done yet this year while they've got weather to work with.
Are they able to use the path that they poured? Are we able to use that yet to have people? Because that just seems like a long way. I mean, when I've been on crutches and, that's a long way. I would be winded before I even hit the red.
Yeah, the walking
Mark
path
there.
that they just poured to the northeast is going to be open as well. I think they just had to backfill it yet today, right? It's open. Okay.
So maybe, let people know that that's another option because that's a long way to expect people to walk.
It's better than having to go all the way to the north end of the CEC, which is how the conversation started this morning. But
This is not how this looked this morning.
so we're trying to work with them, but we could certainly. Okay. But we could sign. I mean, if we wanted to, we could sign an ADA stall on the east side of the building, and people would go that way. Would cut down their path a little bit potentially.
So you're talking about in the back?
Yeah, directly east of the building. There's that new walking path that you could wheel up onto. I don't know actually how much shorter that would be. parking on the east side and going up that ramp that they just, or the
Less
the
treacherous than
path.
that than this.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's shorter. It'd
It's
be
gotta
quicker, But yeah, they'd have to. You'd have to pull up to it and then drop that person off to access that ramp, because even those parking spots.
So maybe we
are
note it as a
little bit-
drop off area, if nothing else, for folks.
Is the parking on the east side along with the handicap accessible ramp there? That's part of phase one that'll happen in the spring?
The additional one by the tennis stalls.
No, north of that. Say again?
It's gonna be phase two, those additional parking.
Oh, those are phase two. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you.
The new salt. That's what I want. Yeah, those will all be brand new and made deeper.
And that's part of phase one.
Yes.
And then north and east of the CEC, those are phase two.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But there is, part of, next to those, there is a ramp on that side,
Gotcha.
or slim. it's
Slope
winding,
side, yeah.
But there is accessibility on that side too.
Good, thanks.
Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Closed session. Under Iowa Code 2151C, to discuss strategy with counsel and matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent,
Let him go first.
where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the government body in that litigation motion.
Second.
Pass them out. The recording stopped.
Yeah, we need to get a actual recording going.
Fresh recording. All right, which way are you going?
You can just leave it like, where it's gonna be there. So kind of what's up, was a little bit of teaching happening down to.